Welcome to My Life on Paper and thank you for joining me. I'm Brianna and welcome to May I Scrap Lift You with Pineapple Papers. There's a bunch of us that are playing along and there is a list of people to scrap lift and I happen to be day 12. Now, everybody can do as they like and pick and choose and pop all over and play along as they like. Some people I know are going right down the list. Um, I am scrapping the first person, or I'm lifting the first person on the list, Karen Leah. She's at Scrap Dolly on Instagram. I will have that linked below. That was on she's the first one on the list. So you may have seen things layouts by her already, but I'm super excited to be scrap lifting her and love the layout and couldn't be more happy with how this turned out. It's what I call straightforward. There's a little bit of stenciling in there, but I have this collection of papers that I've had for a while, and I have a companion page to match it too. So Eliza's 21st birthday, I'm getting close to the end of those pictures. But here is a picture of when they started off for the weekend, her and her sisters. So right now I'm just picking out the pages. I know I want the ones with the one that's on the bottom with the strips of different kind of decorations, but I pick out this purple and the plaid and then try to figure out how I want to lay them out. So first I trim down this plaid. I think it's called plaid. I don't know what else I would call it. Very colorful. And I had used it on another page where I was making triangles out of it. So I knew I just needed a piece. So I approximated from her sketch or her layout and then cut that out. And that's going to be my first of the layering pieces. And then I go to this, I don't know what you call it, strips of layered goodness. And I know I'm going to use something off of there. And then I want to use the purple glitter paper that's hard to glue on top of as another layer. So I trim that down. And I always, there's not exactness and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a exact duplicate of her layout. And I always cut things bigger in case I need to take it down smaller and not make a mistake of cutting it too small. You see me kind of holding this next to it because from the layout, you can tell there's another piece that is next to the bigger piece. That doesn't really help or make sense, does it? But there's that colored cardstock. I need another strip of that to go next to the purple. So I just cut off about 1 inch of that strip and then make sure to get it the length that I want it. And here I was going to trim out with my scissors this a strip of this paper, but I end up using the trimmer, I do believe, for both sides. I didn't need to do any scallop work or anything like that. So I took the pink candles. She's got a yellow dress on and there's a lot of pink going on in the picture. So these are two different collections of papers, so there is not pink in that pattern paper, but that does not bother me in the least bit, and I think it still goes all together very well. And I'm just going to lay that down. I know it needs to trim. I need to trim it shorter per her layout, but right now I'm just going to lay things out, stuff from my stash that I have in my iris bin of birthday things. So I'm trying different things out. That's a paper studio, those cake pops, but that comes off quickly. Here's party animals, which I kind of like, but it wasn't my favorite. I don't know if I decided it was too big or just too dark. So I'm just gonna trade out a couple things and see what makes sense and what goes where. I did cut out I took a punch and I took out this yellow paper from my stash to go as kind of a journaling block. And then here I had some other things that I wanted to use up. And so I'm just kind of auditioning them there to see, do I like it better than what's already there? Maybe I don't like it as much, but I just wanted to see And I knew with that black from the party animals, I wanted black in my other cluster. And so that's why I layered those balloons there. And then that circle bit is from the same collection as those balloons. So I thought I'd throw that up there. And that black on the bottom says happy birthday. Um, and you can see in her layout that she's got those different things in different areas. So I think I really copied the layout pretty much very closely. I wanted to use those two stickers, the present and the hat, so I put those around the side. And I decided I really didn't like that big yellow cupcake. Um, Too much yellow. I know I have the yellow in the circle, but I do have some yellow in the cake, and it just didn't go, it didn't look right together. And I never really do find a good place for that circular element there. So that does not end up on the page. I just couldn't get a good way to layer that up. And again, I have the black happy birthday on the bottom, so I want to use these balloons with the black background. And I was afraid it was gonna kind of just blend into the background where it is there, but I do kind of overlap it with a photo so that it does stand out some more, and it just gives a little more black in that cluster. You can see on her layout that she used a stencil in the corners. So that's exactly what I did. Hers was more of a starburst, but I have this X and O's um, stencil that I really like to use, and this was perfect for that. And again, there was a lot of pink in the paper, not so much pink that are in the papers. Pink in the picture, but not so much pink in the paper, so I wanted to use the pink, the bright pink. It is picked raspberry. It's a distressed oxide, and I have talked about this in the past, but once I get something laid out, and I'm happy with it, I don't want to mess with it. So I didn't want to just peel these. They're not glued down, but I didn't want to just pick them up and put them to the side. So I very carefully stenciled around the paper. This is totally a me thing. Like, I didn't want to move anything. I wanted to be careful. I knew I was taking a chance of maybe getting the cardstock pink. And I bend it out of the way a little bit. But that is my way of making sure I have enough around the cardstock without having to pencil mark and move things and things like that. So I was super happy with that. I think it's cute. So then I moved down to the other end, and on this end, I wasn't quite as careful. So in that corner up in the left, you will see that I go over the top of this stencil, and it gets a little off the stencil, but actually in the finished layout, I don't know that you can see it that much, though that pink candle border kind of covers it up, but you know, it's mixed media, and if it's not perfect, it wasn't done by me. So if it did I say that right? If it is perfect, it wasn't done by me. You only know it's done by me if it's not perfect. So and I wanted it to be not just not perfect, but kind of not all dark. I so on the ends, you'll see that the pink it gets lighter because I didn't go over it quite as thick. But I really like these distressed oxides and these brushes that I got from Amazon. So there is that. That Party Animals comes off. I do not use that. It didn't, I guess, fit with the vibe of the layout. So then I'll start to get everything glued down with my ATG glider or gun, whichever you like to look at it as. My adhesive glider. I have links down below of what my favorites, so that you can check those out. And please ask too if you have any questions about anything. I'd love to talk more about the products that I do use. I have a lot of random birthday stuff, but I like the way it all pulls together. So here I do trim the candles down to 10.5. And again, I'm not exactly sure how long I want it. I just know that 10.5 was a good starting place, and if I need to trim it down further, I could. I actually think it turned out perfectly at 10.5 inches. I'm not really sure how I do that. I guess, and part of it might be from just scrapbooking so long that you just do get the feel for approximate lengths. I can look at a sketch with no exact measurements. Although I got to tell you, I really like working with sketches with exact measurements because I don't want to say perfectionist, but I like to have it done a certain way. And if you have measurements, you know you're getting it done the right way. There's no wrong way in scrapbooking. I hope you guys don't do what I say and not what I do. How about that? So here is my, after gluing the side panel down on the right, that plaid paper on the right, argyle, whatever you want to call it, I wanted to make sure that the left piece of paper, pattern paper, lined up so it looked like it was a continuous thing with the purple in the middle. So I put my ruler down and then I could kind of shimmy the piece of paper around to get it exactly so that it looks like it lines up. Did I have to use a ruler? Absolutely not. Do I do it every time? No, I do not. Because eyeballing it, if it looks straight to you, it's going to look straight to everybody else too. So there's no rhyme or reason to me grabbing out a ruler or not. And maybe it was the pattern paper that threw me off and I felt like I needed to use a ruler just to make sure. So here you can kind of tell I'm taking some time and figuring out like where is her picture in her layout, and moving it around to get it just lined up about where Karen's is. And then I put the pink border down, the pink candle border down, and get that lined up. I think it overlaps or maybe sits right underneath that picture. And then I'm going to get my journaling block down. It's like a grid. It's been sitting in my stash for a long time, but I think it's going to work really good as a journaling block. And I get this circular happy birthday element down. That's a sticker. And then I start working on my other clusters. So I get these pieces where I want them, and then I use the ATG to glue them down into place. And really, I didn't have to use like a super lot of adhesive to get those pieces down onto the adhesive, onto the glitter paper. Just kind of my normal amount. So, and then once it gets into a page protector, that really protects it and it's not going anywhere. So I don't feel like I need to use a super lot of the adhesive. And there I lay down the happy birthday banner. The cake, that yellow cake up on top says, "Make a big wish." The picture is of Eliza next to her sister's car that was decorated. They took her sister's car to the Dells to celebrate her 21st birthday, and she had a little Venmo handle on there so that if anybody wanted to, they could Venmo her money for a drink for her 21st birthday. And she was a little, it was mostly people she knew that Venmoed her money for a couple drinks, so that was nice. Not something that I would do, but you know, when you're 21, I guess. These are very large stickers. I've had them in my stash for a while, and there are stickers on the companion page that go with the same set. So I will have a link to the companion page in the description box below. There is a playlist for everyone that's playing along with May I Scraplift You. Be sure to check them out. I know I will be, and I'll be playing through the month, playing along through the month, hoping to play as much as I can, but making no promises that it will be every day. So, that one black piece, I wanted to get it on there and I wasn't totally sure. But like I said, it does overlap the picture a little bit just so that it stands out a little bit more there. I did put washi tape on the bottom. I don't use my washi tape enough, but her little border she had on the bottom reminded me to use my washi tape, so that made me happy too. And that's really about it. So make sure you stay tuned for the final pictures. And I will be back soon with another video. Thank you so much for sticking with me through the end.